Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Thursday the 23rd of December 2021. And an absolute shocker today. Are you probably already aware of this? And if you're not, this is going to be, might as well sit down. But the Swansea City game has been postponed. This was announced at 1 o'clock this afternoon from Millwall Football Club, and the Swansea City fixture postponed. Millwall Football Club can confirm that its Sky Bet Championship match against Swansea City this Sunday, the 26th of December, has been postponed. This is due to an additional number of positive COVID-19 cases within the playing squad and support staff. The club has worked hard to ensure that it has been able to fulfil the fixture. However, taking into account the injuries and positive COVID-19 cases within the squad, the club does not have a sufficient number of players available in order to fulfil the fixture. Only a minority of those who have returned positive test results are experiencing any sort of symptoms, and they are very mild at worst. The decision to postpone the match has once again been made following extensive dialogue with all necessary stakeholders. A new date for the match will be announced when confirmed. Tickets already purchased for Sunday's game will be valid for the rearranged date, but should you require a refund, please email ticketadmin at PLC, whatever, with proof of purchase, and staff will assist accordingly. If you are booked in for matchday hospitality and need to discuss amending your booking, please email this number. And supporters who have purchased iVolo match passes will be contacted individual in due course by the EFL. Indeed, the club yesterday were telling everyone the game's on TV, you can watch the game, or the game's on iFollow. Just buy a match pass. And I said in yesterday's video, you can do that. And literally today we get this, which seemed to be the obvious outcome that was obviously going to happen. But everywhere along the way, we were being told, no, it's still going on, It's fine. No, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But the game's still going on. Buy your tickets. Buy a video match pass. It's all good. Carry on. And it wasn't. It's like obviously we got the Coventry game on the 29th. That's probably in doubt as well. So I wouldn't buy tickets for that if I was you. But funnily enough, I think Millwall TT, if you've already on YouTube and seen his videos, he's the bald geezer with a kid driving home. So you probably that he said something quite on the nose on Twitter. Millwall 1 o'clock, Swansea City game postponed. That's what they put on Twitter. 1:30, they're saying, "Oh, buy a ticket for Coventry, buy a ticket for Blackpool away, buy a ticket for this." So are you having a fucking laugh? And then a lot of other people made a very good point. Just make them pay on the day. Make the Coventry game pay on the day. Why are we having to front up money for a game that might not happen? Make it pay on the day. Now there are reasons why they don't do that, but we're in extraneous circumstances at the moment. Just make it pay on the day. Now Coventry can do that, but they obviously enter into an agreement with Millwall Football Club. And each club does that. In League One, a lot of clubs did do pay on the day. They didn't really care that much. They wanted to sell as many tickets as they could. But in the Championship, it seems that doesn't really happen anymore. Pay on the day's out the door, and they're relying on Millwall to sell tickets to away games to just members and season ticket holders. Probably because there's more demand for them. So it's probably they're guaranteed to sell them out if they make it seem as it's rarer to do. And of course, Mill get money from people buying memberships. I see a post about someone saying, he shelled out 90 quid for memberships just to buy Crystal Palace tickets because he wanted to get ahead of the queue of general sale, which they've gone on general sale now. But yes, the Swansea City game has been postponed, and the Coventry game looks likely to go that way as well. But it should be pay on a day if it isn't. and they should announce that now. I know they want to sell tickets in advance and get your money, and then if it doesn't happen, they give you a refund, and then you're waiting 2 or 3 months for that. When that comes, I'm like, it's Christmas time. People are spending a lot of money. They spent money expecting to go to a game on Sunday. They didn't spend money expecting to go to a game in a couple of months. Then they could have saved their money and spent the ticket, paid for the ticket in a couple of months. Instead, what you got in your hand is an IOU from Millwall saying, "Oh yeah, we'll refund you," but then you have to jump through all these hoops, emailing and giving them proof of purchase. Now, if I'm a member and I buy it online through the Millwall tickets, they have my proof of purchase. Now, maybe they're talking about people who went down to the window and bought it in person. On general sale with cash, but if I'm a member and I bought a ticket online through Millwall Tickets website, surely they can just press a button and reverse the fixture, or just cancel it and stop the process. Because I believe it's 56 days until the credit card companies actually dish out the money, so they can just cancel the transaction. But there you go. It's all an absolute mess. And on Tuesday's video, so we've got this. This was published today by news@den.co.uk. I think they're probably scrounging around for something to write about. And they actually wrote about Gary Rowett's comments that were covered by, I believe it was the London News Online. And this was published this morning. And he's saying, oh yeah, well, no, we're fine. So Gary Rowett's team selection. So this was this morning, remember that. Against Swansea City on Boxing Day is likely to be conditioned by how COVID-19 has affected some players and how much training they've been able to do in their periods of self-isolation. We all have players coming back available to train at a club at different times, depending on when they tested positive. Rowett revealed late last week that positive cases in the first team, staff and under 23s were well into double figures. Millwall wouldn't have been able to field a senior team against Preston, and that game scheduled for last Saturday was postponed. On Tuesday, Rowett had fewer than 10 senior players to work with at the training ground, which reopened the day before. Yeah, and on Tuesday he said a statement where, we'll figure it out. We should be okay. And I'm like, you've got 11. They had 10 senior players, and Conor Mahoney, who was kind of doing half and half. He wasn't doing a full session. Like, you got 11 players. You need 14. Well, you need 14, but you need 13 and one goalkeeper. So if I think if both of our goalkeepers had it, we could get the game postponed. I don't know if Ryan Sandford would be, if we had him, if he was fit. If he didn't have it, then he would probably have to play. I don't know if that counts. He does have a squad number. He is a pro, so I'm not too sure. Millwall had 8 players who had COVID this month last year, leading to their games against Bournemouth on December the 26th and Watford 3 days later being postponed. 5 of those players started against Coventry on January 2, and Millwall appeared to lack energy in that 2-1 defeat. Yeah, that's because Coventry are quite a young team as well, and they're very good, and you've seen that this year, that they're near the top of the table, so Mark Robin's doing a pretty decent job there. Millwall closed their training ground late last week to try and halt the spread of the virus, as during the first lockdown in 2020, Rowett, his staff and the sports science department had to devise training and fitness programs for the squad. Lions Chief Executive Steve Kavanagh said a small percentage of players are experiencing symptoms, and all of those are mild. Rowett was asked about preparations ahead of this Sunday's game, and we're quite experienced in that now, unfortunately, in difficult preparations, because we've had it before. Rowett told me then. It was around January with the Coventry game when we had players come back from COVID. Clearly there was a physical deficiency in the performance and in the players. You've got certain players that will have had symptoms and not been able to do much training remotely. Some players will be able to do a little bit of training and perhaps be in a better position with no symptoms. It's just a blend. You have to take it day by day and prepare the ones that are ready and okay and can get that training volume. To be honest, you probably have to lean towards those players more than the ones that have COVID and will have been out for 10 days, because at least you know physically what you're going to get. It is a challenge. It's a massive disruption. But we're very fortunate in football, so I'm always mindful of whinging too much about it. We'll get on with it, and we'll try and find the right solutions. Now, is that what he said? Now, London News Online, maybe they misquoted him. I'm not too sure. I don't know. I'm not pointing fingers at anyone. But if this is what he said, we'll get on with it, and we'll try and find the right solution. So that's a very politician-style answer. Doesn't mean they're going to try and play the game. They're going to find the right solution. So the right solution, apparently, was to postpone the game. So that's what I said in Tuesday's video. He's saying positive things, but the things he's saying aren't positive. He's saying, oh yeah, we were back in training today. Oh yeah, it was great. We had 10 players for training, and Conor Mahoney did some work and well. Jed Wallace is out injured though, so we're not too sure about him. It's like, now obviously I'm reading his words on print, not hearing him speak them himself. So, but maybe that's coming through in that. But he was saying, like, you need 13 players and one goalkeeper, according to the EFL, or if you don't have that, then you can have your game postponed. So he was saying, oh, like, yeah, we're back in training, it's good, we should be alright by Sunday. And it's like, yeah, I don't think you will be. It's what? Why is you're saying positive things, but what you're actually doing isn't positive. You've only got 10 players training, mate. And you're going to have players coming back from basically having a bad cold, because he's saying no, they haven't had really bad symptoms. So that's not easy to come back from. But so this was published this morning, like I said, but there you go. And then 1 o'clock we got the truth of the cancellation, and they say here, next fixture, there should be a question mark there, not a semicolon. Next fixture, question mark, Coventry away to Millwall, Coventry at Millwall, or Millwall at Coventry, Wednesday 7:45. Yeah, maybe not, mate. Maybe not, because if they tested positive today, that's Thursday, and then you got a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's 6 days. If they tested positive today, the new rules, they changed the rules. It was 10 days, now it's 7 days. So you need to take a negative test, 2 in a row, in case the first one wasn't a false negative. So if you think you've recovered, if they test positive today, they probably have to wait a couple of days, think they've recovered, then take another test, or maybe they probably take a test every day if they don't think they've recovered. So take another test. If that's negative, then take another one. If you get 2 negatives in a row, then the clock can start, and you can have 7 days before you can come out of the basement or whatever. What's that? The Coventry game's six days away. Now it might be a situation that I was dreading for the Swansea game, when I thought, well, we're gonna have a patchwork side. We're gonna have like Bodvarsson up front, maybe on his own, because he's the only striker of it. Might have Sanford in goal. Might have Jaden Davis and Sean O'Brien on the bench. Now, ironically, what might have saved us is all these players have been loaned out, all the decent under 23 players. That might have actually saved us from actually trying to being forced to play this game, because if they were here in and around the squad playing for the under 23s, they probably would have been told to carry on, get them into the first team and play them. But because we've got about 9 players out on loan, that's helped us greatly, it seems. So yeah, I think Coventry game's going to be postponed as well. If not, it's going to be what I feared for the Swansea game, the patchwork side, and you don't really want that against Coventry away. Yeah, unless Coventry have got the COVID problems as well, and then both teams are fielding like a reserve team, like a Millwall 11, not Millwall team. Millwall 11, Coventry 11. It is what it is. So there you go. Let's move on now to this. So we've got the transfer window coming up in a week and a half. starts to open, and then players can start talking to other clubs, and Millwall are talking to their own players about trying to re-sign them or not. And we have this here: Millwall's Gary Rowett has spoken to experienced duos in the last 6 months of contracts. This from news@den.co.uk. So Millwall manager Gary Rowett has spoken to Alex Pearce and Matt Smith about their game time this campaign, but said it would be unfair to comment publicly about their futures after this season. Club skipper Pearce and striker Smith, 32, agreed new one-year deals last summer, but both have struggled for match minutes this season. Pearce started 2 EFL Cup games in August, but has played just 4 minutes in the league as a substitute in a 3-1 win over Birmingham early this month. Smith has made 23 appearances in 21-22, but only 7 of them have been starts. I don't think it's fair for me to make that comment now or that assumption publicly, Rowett replied when asked if they were unlikely to get new contracts. I've spoken to both players individually to give them an idea of where they stand at the moment. I think both will be a little bit disappointed at the moment with the lack of game time, but could look at a game like Peterborough and say, could I have offered a little bit more in that type of game? I understood that. That's what I said before the game. That's a game for Matt Smith. That's what I said. But at the same time, as a manager, you have to choose how you want to play the team to play and how you want it to look. And sometimes certain players don't get quite as much game time as they would like. You have to assess that moving forward. What I do is I always try to be honest with players, and individually both of those will understand the situation. They played a lot of games between them. They're fabulous players at this level, so I wouldn't expect them to be overly happy that they haven't played that much. So there you go. What does that mean? I don't know. I think it's probably going to be the end of the road, no? I think so. I mean, Gary Rowett said he wants to improve the squad, but he needs players to leave before he can bring them in. Well, you got two older players who don't play much, and their contracts are up at the end of the season, and you let their contracts expire last season, and you offered them, I think, less money. We think he offered them less money, and I don't think if you pull that again, yeah, I think that would be massively disrespectful if you play it. Say, we'll give you another year, but on even less money than you were on a couple of years ago. And I think both of them would be in their rights to just walk away and just shaking their heads saying, fuck that. But yeah, so I think these two will go, free up some wage space. Maybe we will be able to use that to improve the team, or maybe we won't. We've still got that loan to pay back to the EFL, $2.5 million a year over the next 3 or 4 years, whatever it was, to the loan they gave us to cover COVID. Yeah, so maybe we're gonna have to trim the squad and play the kids, which when you got Isaac Loffey and Alex Mitchell doing wonders in League 2, that might not be a bad thing. So there you go. Now we're going to move on to international flair. This. Why am I telling you about this? Well, we play Crystal Palace on January 8th in the FA Cup third round. Now, it's probably, there is a very good chance it might be behind closed doors, but the game is on ITV and that most likely will be played. I will imagine by then the COVID versus through the players will be under control. So Crystal Palace attacker Wilfried Zaha called up by Ivory Coast for Africa Cup of Nations. And this is from LondonNewsOnline.co.uk. Wilfried Zaha has been included in Ivory Coast squad for the Africa Cup of Nations next month, meaning the Crystal Palace attacker is set to miss a number of matches at the start of 2022. Their first match is against Equatorial Guinea on January 12. That's likely to mean that Zaha will not be available for the Eagles FA Cup third round tie at Millwall just a few days earlier. Yes. Palace could also lose the services of Jordan Ayew, Chiku Kuyate, and Jeffrey Slupp. The tournament runs from January 9 to February 6. So there you go, 1 down, 3 to go. This year will give us a very good chance of beating them. It will do. You take the best players out of their team and it will give us a very good chance of beating them, which is all you want. Now if the fans are there, we got a good chance of beating them anyway, but if it's behind closed doors then maybe not, but we will see. They're still a very good side without him, but we will see what we can do. Now moving on now to this, I'm telling you this as well. Why am I showing you this? What's this got to do with Millwall? Now this is from bbc.co.uk/sport, and they're talking about the Morocco squad, but I want to bring you this news here. Comoros also named their squad on Thursday for what will be their first ever appearance at the Africa Cup of Nations. The side ranked 132 in the world, only lost 1 game in qualification away to Egypt. They include veteran defender Jimmi Abdou, who spent a decade at Millwall. There you go. Jimmi Abdou is in Comoros' squad for the African Nation Cup. It's their first ever squad, so I don't know about you, but I'll be supporting them. Comoros in the African Cup of Nations next month. All the games are on Sky, so you can have a little look in there. You can see him there, Jimmi Abdou. I don't know, that's probably, I haven't been through all the squads, but that's probably the only Millwall connection amongst the squads. I don't think there's any other Millwall players connected to that, connected to African teams. I'm not too sure, and the ones that have qualified. But there you go. Yeah, Jimmi Abdou in the Comoros squad for their first, I think it's their first ever a tournament at all. They're literally, it's probably the equivalent of, what would it be the equivalent of? It would be the equivalent of Cyprus. Cyprus getting into the UEFA tournament. That's what it would be like, Cyprus getting into the UEFA summer tournament. And they made it. They made it in their first one. Comoros did. So you can see here, all the games are on Sky Sports. If you've got Sky Sports, you can watch it. Might as well, you're paying for it now. Every single game will be on. Comoros' first game will be against Gabon, Monday the 10th at 8 o'clock. Then they play Morocco. That's not easy, is it? 5 o'clock, Friday the 14th. And then they play Ghana. Oh my god, how hard is that? Yeah, but I'm going to look forward to watching Jimmi Abdou. Straight stuff for Comoros. Hope he does okay. And I will be supporting them. So come on, Comoros, let's go. Yeah. And with that, we're going to end this video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.